What is good, y'all? John D. Saunders here. I hope all is well. In today's video, I'm breaking down my main takeaways from Creativity Inc., an amazing book by the president of Pixar and Disney Animation Studios. So let's dive in and let's get it started. Lego. First things first, Creativity Inc. was a super awesome read. It's by Ed Catmull. He is the president of Pixar as well as Disney Animation Studios. This guy worked with Steve Jobs, George Lucas, and so many other inspirational and aspirational folks in this business. And so as a web design agency owner, I took this read as something that could help me get engaged with my team, provide creativity in an environment where we're able to flourish and do really, really well. So let's dive into some of these tidbits and things that I found in the book that were super helpful and that you can make applicable to your business as well. So my first takeaway, basically he hired someone, right? And he said he had taken a risk and that risk yielded the highest reward. So one thing that Catmull always talks about, and most of us know, is to hire really intelligent folks. Hire people that are smarter than you, more adept than you, and are just great at what they do. Ed talks a lot about the Braintrust. And this is super crucial to any agency, whether you're a freelancer or a small team. He talked about on each morning, they had a Braintrust meeting. Basically, they gather for a screening of a film in progress. After the screening, they head to a conference room, they have some lunch, they gather their thoughts, and they sit down to talk. So they're always talking about specific projects and being very open with each other. The director and producer of the film would provide a summary of where they think they are, and then they'd say where we locked down, and then these are the things that we're having issues with. So the Braintrust is essentially a group of people that get together to discuss these problems continuously throughout the project. It's a great way to keep everyone connected, everyone on the same page as well, and creating that cohesiveness that you need with a project like that. So Ed talks about failure and not waiting until things culminate to a huge snowball. So he talks about how do you make failure into something people can face without fear? And this was super helpful for me. I took massive notes on this. Basically, the answer is simple. If we as leaders can talk about our mistakes and our part in them, then we make it safe for others. This is huge. As an entrepreneur, you already know people are out here telling you all the good things that happen to them, all their positive stories, but they never talk about the issues and problems that they've had. Some of the best videos that have performed on my channel have been about the mistakes that I've made and the things that I've learned from them. So that's why he makes it a point of being open about meltdowns inside Pixar. If someone's having issues, they have to be open, they have to be honest, and they have to be candid. His goal is not to drive fear out completely because fear is inevitable in high stakes situations, but he wants it to loosen its grip on us. As we all know, when we make mistakes, we sometimes hold those close. We don't tell people. And if we keep going into that problem, what will happen is people will think, oh, well, this person's doing everything right. I can't tell them I'm making mistakes because then that makes me look bad. He talks about we must think of the cost of failure as an investment in the future. Whoa! Bars. Man, this one I loved. So Ed and his team, as you know, Pixar is a huge beast right now. They've released amazing films, animated films, and they've really pushed the envelope in regards to design and development of these projects. So one thing that Ed talks about is joking around, right? Playing around. Some of the best ideas come from joking around, which only comes when you or the boss give yourself permission to do it. So you got to have fun with it. You know what I mean? Pete, one of his partners and director on a few of the films at Pixar, says it can feel like a waste of time to watch YouTube videos or to tell stories of what happened last weekend, but it can actually be very productive in the long run. So make sure you're being open, make sure you're having fun. You know what I mean? As you guys can see behind me, I've got Boba Fett back there. I've got my Spider-Man action figure. I'm a big kid and I love what I do. And I think a lot of that creativity and passion comes through in my web design projects. So make sure you're having fun, be open, do what you enjoy, and you don't always have to equate everything you do to a business, a side hustle, or making money. Oh, here's another thing. As you all know, Pixar is top tier when it comes to animated films. But one thing that differentiates them from the pack is they do their homework. So they do research trips, they challenge preconceived notions, and they keep cliches out. So in one example, the thing about research is when they were researching Ratatouille, which is a film about a mouse who essentially becomes like this top chef, they actually went to these specific restaurants. They walked through the kitchens, they talked to chefs, And even though people are watching the film and not realizing that these are things that are very on point in the industry, it just tells the story better because you add a level of authenticity. So as a web design agency owner, as a designer, make sure you're doing your research and due diligence. Look at your competitors. Look at people in the space. Look at folks that are doing the right thing. You don't necessarily have to copy, but you can emulate some things that other people are doing right in your business that have already been proven. So make sure you're doing your research, do your homework, and really do that research up front to provide a stellar product for your clients. Again, I do want to talk about the Braintrust aspect because my team and I, we do this all the time. I had a call last week with our account executive, and we have our own Braintrust where we go over ideas, spec thoughts, and processes and systems in the business. So just so you know, and just so we have the right definition, a Braintrust is a safe arena in which to solicit and interpret candid responses to developing projects. So it's literally a room where you sit down with your team, your folks, and you just go through everything, right? You go through the creativity, you go through the project, you go through the process, and it's just a great way to get those ideas out of your mind and onto paper. Here's another thing that I really like that Ed did. Now, of course, you know Pixar has a huge team, but for some specific projects, they need specialists. So he talked about how he hired key talent inside the studio, but then outsourced certain parts of the process that wouldn't affect quality. This is huge, and I tell people this all the time. You can hire team members locally, offshore. Make sure you have your solid team in staff that's trained in your team, but then you can also have a process that you can delegate to people outside that are maybe specialists or do something specific. So in my example, you know, we have 3 designers on staff, but then we also hire freelancers and specific types of individuals for projects that fit that criteria. So one thing we do is a lot of illustrations. So we might hire a freelancing illustrator that has a specific style that we really like. So really think about building your core team, and then also think about creating other assets that you can delegate to other team members that are outside of your realm, but you're able to leverage these really talented people that you might not necessarily specialize. Oh man, this is one idea that I really loved. So they have personal project days at Pixar, where you get 2 days a month where engineers are allowed to work on anything they want using Pixar's resources to engage with whatever problem or question they found interesting. And this is great because it gives folks a chance to kind of unwind, work on things that they love. And as we know, everybody these days has a side hustle or project that they love. They're able to leverage the tools and resources at Pixar and do some really fun stuff. And sometimes some really cool things come out of that. I mean, they had some designs and some motion sensing input devices that they were able to update because someone was just working on it as a side project. Now I'm gonna run down a few of my favorites from the recap chapter. So stay tuned, I'm gonna speed read these, let's go. So first one is, when looking to hire people, give their potential to grow more weight than their current skill level. What they will be capable of tomorrow is more important than what they can do today. Whoa, that's huge. I'm a big proponent of that. I'm always hiring for people that are passionate, that are hungry. All these skills that we do in the web design agency can be learned and taught. You just have to look for the fundamentals of people that click with your business. Lastly, and these are rules that I live by, make sure if you miss anything else, make sure you listen to this one. Don't wait for things to be perfect before you share them with others. Show early and show often. It'll be pretty when we get there, but it won't be pretty along the way. And that's as it should be. Man, thank you, Ed Catmull, for writing this amazing book. This is going in the library, and I'm just really excited to be able to share my thoughts with you all. And if you have any questions, let me know. Drop a comment below. Please make sure you like the video, subscribe. The more people that see this content, the merrier. And I'm happy that I get to share this content with you. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Peace.